got a lot to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Look at these awesome orbs. This fantastic UFO sighting in Great Britain in 2014. Daytime sighting, just awesome stuff. Love it. Doing anomalous things. Don't I don't think you could say those are birds or bugs or anything like that. They're very clear, very steady. Interesting that they have a little formation going that changes. They're kind of playful the way sometimes orbs are, and then just kind of vanishing out of existence like that. Really fascinating. Yeah, I think that's just a terrific orb sighting. What are these things? Are they, UFOs that are bigger on the inside than the outside? Are they probes or, drones? Are they other dimensional beings potentially? That's the information you get sometimes on orbs, or at least some orbs, because there do seem to be different categories of orbs, that there are other dimensional either beings or the vehicles for beings coming from other dimensions. And sometimes aliens will pop out of them, or Bigfoot will pop out of them. But more often they're just these lights that are doing anomalous things. So I'm just fascinated by that phenomenon. So let me know what you think about this really great sighting. Meanwhile, interesting news from Professor Felipe Biondi. Jay Anderson hung out with him in Egypt, which is pretty cool. Now, Biondi, of course, is one of the researchers of the Giza Megastructure, which I think is one of the most exciting things going right now. We've got the Nazca mummies, the Boogosphere in the Giza Megastructure. Talk about a trifecta of UFO disclosure. This is just amazing. And he is talking about efforts to clear one of the shafts.
It has to be revealed. I think that now anything can go back. We have to go straight, and we have a plan. We have a plan to clean the shafts, or one of the shafts that we have explored just now, and in our personal opinion, those shafts give us in the entrance into the hidden city that is below the plateau. And we are here to supporting this thesis. It is not just a thesis, but are real measurements that we made by radar. And the shafts are connecting things from the surface of the plateau. Are connecting life from the surface of the plateau into the rooms, into the city, the underground city. And so we have to do this.
Okay, there you go. They're trying to get access to one of these shafts. Jay Anderson says, he said it, they are trying to get permissions to be clearing out one of the vertical shafts that they believe connect to the subterranean complex. The Giza Megastructure, which extends like a kilometer underground. It's just insane. These giant shafts, supposedly from their scans, and they've done many scans, but it hasn't been corroborated by any other teams. It's just their team that has done these scans using this proprietary technique. Hopefully others will be able to corroborate it even without that technique, or maybe they can share that technique using a combination of SAR technology in seismic equipment. So, anyway, they're trying to get access to what they see as an underground city below the Giza Plateau, the Giza Megastructure. And man, if they do, that will upset all understanding of human history. This is Atlantis disclosure. I mean, call it what you want. A disclosure of some sort of high civilization in the ancient world, or just outright alien, activity and assistance. But I think it's more likely to be something more like Atlantis. But of course, with that package also comes ET, or at least contact from beyond in some fashion. So I'm just super excited. Got my eye on that story. Let me know what you guys think. Will they be able to get access? I mean, the powers that be in Egypt don't seem hugely friendly to the idea of digging on the plateau. But we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed, because this is important. It needs to happen. Meanwhile, more incursions, or at least the military is talking about drone incursions onto military bases and how they have increased from year to year. And it's just another story about them trying to do something about it, assembling methods and techniques and instruments to take these drones down. It's war on the drones, guys. The Europeans are doing it. Christian Gillibrand is getting laws passed in the U.S. to take these things down. The military is doing something about it. They are assembling their techniques, maybe taking advantage of the new freedoms to take these things down, and that is what they are trying to do. But yeah, General Gregory Gilot says there are 1 to 2 unidentified drone incursions per day over U.S. military facilities. This is happening in the most heavily monitored airspace in America. How do they know the origin and flight path for these objects? Disclosure Party wants to know. Yes, so some of these, in fact, many of these are likely to be mundane, but many of these are also likely to be the mystery drones, more anomalous activity. So it'll be interesting to see if their techniques and tools are able to bring these things down. And if they can't be brought down, will they reveal that to the public? What will they say about this? And if they can bring one of these things down, will they share the truth about it? The anomalous ones. I mean, they still haven't told us about the object that crashed over Langley, the mystery drone that went down over Langley that we know the military has. They have one of these objects and they haven't said anything about it. And we know they haven't said boo about those other 3 objects shot down during Balloon Gate, 3 that we know of. Ross Coulthard has indicated there's more than we know, and that they were indeed anomalous. This post from Breaking News says that Canada has unveiled the first ever image of the UFO downed during a joint U.S.-Canada mission in February 2023. The grainy photo shows a circular white object shot by a U.S. Air Force F-22 fighter jet. It doesn't look especially like a balloon to me. But really interesting that Canada and the U.S. are coordinating to shoot at these objects. What are they? How many of them are actually balloons? How many of them are something else? Meanwhile, in this really interesting interview with Concrete, Dr. Jack Sarfati tells a really interesting story. Now there's music playing. I'm not going to, show what he had to say directly, but I'll link to this. And of course, you can go watch the full podcast at your leisure. But it's a really interesting story about how, as a child, Jack received a phone call, a mysterious phone call that seemed to be giving coordinates or something using numbers. And then it told him, well, it asked him a question if he wanted to be part of a project where, some being somewhere were trying to gather some highly intelligent people to work on some projects. And he, with his mind, he said no, but something prompted him to say yes. And the voice said, okay, great. Well, in 20 years, you're going to be working with some of these individuals. 20 years later, he was working with those individuals, including people like Dr. Hal Puthoff. And it turns out that Hal Puthoff admitted to having that same phone call. Now, Hal hasn't given us any details of that phone call, as far as I know. But he did say yes to having that happen. So Jack and Hal and presumably others, potentially hundreds of others, because that's what this alien voice, or at least this robotic, strange voice over the phone, told Jack, that there would be hundreds of others that, that would be part of this initiative, that in some way the phenomenon would be working with. How exactly they're working together, what all that means is really unclear, but it seems like it's kind of an important thing to figure out. I think we need some study on this, guys. We need to figure this out. Why are these super brains being, manipulated or worked with, however you want to think about it, by the phenomenon? Yeah, involved in UFO stuff and psi stuff. What does it all mean, guys? It's a crazy story, and I encourage you to go watch the full interview with Concrete. So just wild stuff. Another wild thing happened where Lou Elizondo photobombed or live bombed Thomas Fessler, appearing by surprise on Thomas's show, where he was apparently hanging out with Mike Disclosure. And Lou had some interesting stuff to say. And again, I'll refer you to the video and you can listen to Lou's words directly. But Lou basically said there's some hot stuff going on in Washington, D.C. right now behind the scenes. The UFO disclosure is doing some exciting stuff, or there have been some exciting developments behind the scenes involving UFO disclosure. And then, of course, we're going to find out about it in the near future. Of course, we've heard many times something big is always right around the corner. But Lou Elizondo seems genuinely excited about whatever is going on here. So maybe something big is really coming around the corner. I mean, we've heard these rumors before, and then David Grush showed up, right? We heard there was a whistleblower making waves in Washington, D.C., and some big stuff was coming, and Dave came forward. We heard big stuff was coming, and then, Jake Barber showed up, and some were underwhelmed by that testimony. He certainly never got his day in Congress, at least not yet. Although once you've heard his testimony, you might understand why. They may want to stick to a more nuts and bolts perspective, for the public, the public hearings. But fascinating regardless, and in a way, even more shocking and interesting than what David Grush had to say. David was basically confirming what we all knew, which was that there were UFO crash retrievals and reverse engineering. But Jake Barber says that when they're retrieving those craft, sometimes they're psychically interacting with them, or even, luring them in through psychic means. So fascinating stuff from Jake Barber. So sometimes some of this stuff does materialize, these big things that are about to happen. So let me know what you think Lou Elizondo might be referring to here. And let me know if you think it, something big might indeed be around the corner, because that is exciting if true. All right, here's a cool UFO video shared by Skywatch Signal. UFO captured through telescope by John Leonard Walson in 2025. And this is a really weird UFO or phenomenon, I guess, captured through a telescope. Now, John Bell, Florida Real UFO, has been capturing some interesting stuff through a telescope too. Hoping to talk more about that in the near future. After it's been analyzed a little bit. But this is really strange, goings on here. Is that a craft with a cloaking device on it? What exactly are we looking at here? Again, could that be a being of some sort? Going back to Skywatcher, not Skywatch Signal, but Skywatcher, where they're luring in these energy beings or plasma beings or whatever they are. Is that what we're dealing with here or looking at here? Or is this more of a structured craft because it is holding a consistent shape, even though it's very weird looking? So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. And speaking of Lou Elizondo, he says that, his life has been threatened, or at least he feels unsafe. He is asked, nothing seems to scare you. And Lou says, actually, he's scared.
Say that. I didn't say I wasn't scared. I mean, I'm taking huge risks. My life has been threatened many times, and it's very concerning for me. It's a reason why I live in Wyoming and I'm heavily armed and have now 6 German Shepherds. Yeah, I'm very cautious and careful, but I'm also understanding. I also know the left and right limits of the law.
Okay, yeah, that's why he has 6 German Shepherds. I mean, there's a lot of German Shepherds. I like German Shepherds as much as anybody, but 6? So yeah, Lou Elizondo seems to actually feel threatened by, um, having gone forward, gone public. Meanwhile, I wanted to show a cool video from John Bell. Speaking of John Bell, Real Florida UFO, a lot of people think the orbs that he shows are bugs and birds, but toward the end of this video, you actually get to see some bugs and birds and what they look like with John's equipment. Let's see, as we go over the trees, where are they? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there's a bat right there. That's what a bat looks like on his camera, and I think that was a bug, that tiny little thing that you saw. But yeah, there are bugs and birds do not appear as these glowing orbs on his equipment. But yeah, on this video, he has multiple orbs show up and interact, and they're playful. Getting back to the whole orb thing, I'm not sure if this is the same type of orb as we saw in that first video. Again, there's different categories of orbs, and this may be of a different category. But they're, interacting with him in some way. They're showing up for him. UFOs show up for John every single night, pretty much. He always gets something when he goes out there anyway. And he gets some fantastic stuff of all different sorts, not just orbs, but, things that seem to be more structured craft in the sky. Some of them are slow, some are fast, and just a fantastic activity from John. Let me know what you think about that, and also this amazing rhino getting a belly rub or chest rub or whatever that is. I guess rhinos like belly rubs just as much as anybody does. I know I do. But don't try this at home, guys. So let me know what you think about this awesome rhino and this very brave photographer, as well as everything else covered today in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below. Become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.